Hello, I'm Jonathan Bowman-Perks and welcome to my favourite time of the week. I want to talk about the fact that you need to remember that you are going to die. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I think it's very important that we focus on that. And there is that incredible true story historically about when a Roman general had a triumph. He had succeeded in battle. He had slayed his enemies. He was given a triumph to return into Rome with all the enemies that he'd captured behind him in chains. And the crowds went wild. He was adored almost like a god. And they would daub their face, I think, in purple, like the god of war. But they always had an assistant, an aide-de-camp, behind them, and they would whisper in their ears constantly, Memento Mori, Memento Mori. Remember that you are mortal. Remember that you are going to die. Don't get too carried away with yourself and your ego. Because I know that many of you have had successes and have had failures, and I know at the times that when I've had some good lucky breaks and things have gone very well for me, that I have got a bit carried away with myself, a bit too pleased with myself. And I probably needed someone to whisper in my ear, Memento Mori. Indeed, they say that King Solomon, the wise King Solomon, the one who was brought two women who were arguing over which baby, which of them owned the baby. They were saying that they both said that they were the mothers. And he made this horrendous judgment. He said, okay, chop the baby in half. And one of the women, no, give it to her, give it to her. And he said, you're the mother. You can have it. And it was her baby. Brutal. Whether it's right or not, I don't know, but it was just an amazing story. Shocking. But this thing about remembering that you're mortal. And King Solomon, he had someone whisper in his ear. When things went well, the assistant would say to him, Sire, this too shall pass. So not getting too carried away with his ego, how wonderful he was. And when things went badly, the aide said to him, Sire, this too shall pass. The same thing. So treat defeat and success, those two impostors, just the same, as Rudyard Kipling would say. But it was the Stoics who really got the mindset about the fact that we're all going to die. All those who are close to us are going to die. We are going to die. But not to be pessimistic about it, but actually have a clear mindset about how you're going to approach your life. As you know, from those of you who watched my last couple of videos, and thank you very much, the one when I thought I'd been given the warning from the cancer specialist that I had a 50% chance of having cancer, that had about 8,400 views of it. Because people are very aware of this thing that cancer often, for many people in their mindset, means death. And I was remaining calm, but I was anxious. Lucky enough, when I told you in the second one that I'd been given the pass this time around and that I hadn't got cancer, I was completely clear after all the tests and the operation. I had 4,100 people look at that. Now, what does that tell us? I don't know. Are we more fascinated by death and people's bad luck rather than their good luck and their good news? That's why perhaps many of the papers and the newspapers, they very rarely have good news. They're often focusing on the things we worry about and the things that we're frightened of, things that scare us, topics like Brexit. But back to the Stoics and how it can help us and help you today. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who spent much of his time in the Danube area in the German forests for 19 years fighting the onslaught of the Huns and the Visigoths and various tribes who were attacking Rome. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. And Seneca, another Stoical philosopher, said, the one that puts the finishing touches to their life each day is never short of time. So in all that goes on for you, whether you have had someone like I have close who's died, or someone who has a disease which will end their life way shorter. I mean, my father died at 35. He was killed at 35, way before his time was up. But that was his life. He lived his full life. It just happened to be 35 years, way before his time, and he had so much more to give. And I find that moment of realizing my mortality more than ever before has made me much more present, enjoying the moment, my time with Lee, with my children, with my friends, appreciating everything much more in the moment than I ever have done before. Because I don't know how long I've got, but I do know that I will die. So I will make the most of my time when I've got it. So my 3 tips for you. 1, be present. Be with the people you're with the things you're doing for the time that you're doing it. And then focus on something else. But be present. Keep it short and to the point. But really be with someone, particularly the ones who are loved to you. No one on their deathbed says, if only I spent longer in the office. They don't say that. Those interviews with those who are dying, it's often topics about the work. I got it out of proportion. I was a workaholic. I worked far too much time. Spend more time with the ones I love. Tell them what I feel about them. I never told them enough that I loved them, or I cared about them, or I was proud of them. And I make a particular point with my own children, telling them how proud I am of them, my children and my stepchildren. So be present. Next thing, do your best. You have some skills and some talents, use those. Do your best every day at everything that you do it. Now, you will fail and come short again and again. I'm not successful, but I often think, what have I learned from it? I have after-action reviews. I look back on it and I think, what have I learned? When it goes well, what have I learned? When it didn't go well, it's a teachable moment. And thirdly, appreciate what you do have and who you do have, and make the most of what you already have. Happiness is wanting what you already have. It's not getting what you want. So, thoughts for the day, and remember that you are going to die. And if any of you want to get in touch about your teams or about your own coaching, reach out to me. Drop an email to my website, jonathanperks.com, and I'd love to meet up with you and talk to you about it. Thank you very much, and have a great day.